This week's chapter returns us to the Asticassia Academy. Days have passed and among the aftermath of the combat the repair work began. The survivors live in camps without many resources or permission to move from the site. Our protagonist is actively helping the others to the surprise of Secelia, who does not recognize her. Bob receives the news that Petra managed to survive although in critical condition. She is treated at the Bennett Group facilities. They also have no news of Luda's whereabouts. Kananji gives a report of what happened at the academy with the Lefrit Gundam. He could not be identified to the pilot and await the decision of the Space Congress. Bob meets with Myrene, who blames himself for the Quinn Harbor incident. Meets with Shattuck, who is detained. He asks that his women do not receive the same punishment since he was the one who planned everything. He was only looking for an equality between the terrestrials and the species. Myrene wants to know since when he worked with the Union, without confessing it. He implies since Soletta became his fiancée at the beginning of the series. She agrees that they were both idiots with their decisions. Given the lack of food in the camp, Soletta begins to distribute resources. Nuno and company want to know where she got them since the greenhouse was destroyed. She shows them that she froze and kept in the cellar all the tomatoes that she could not eat, having enough for everyone. She is sure that Myrene would want her to use them to help others. Martin tries to confess to Nika that he was the one who ratted her out, but she tells him to quit school, pay for his crimes and try to get back in on his own. Martin can only tell him to call you if you need help. Soletta is contacted by Belmiria and Guston. He is a Union inspector who mediates in political conflicts. At the same time in the Nugen Space Union front, Cal, Nebula and Galneri from the Peel Group blame the Bennett Group for what happened, the Quinn Harbor incident, the kidnapping of Grassley, as well as working secretly to develop the Quiet Zero. For his brave complaint, the leader asks to dissolve the group. This action is applauded by those present. The fleet is ready to intervene forcibly. Bennett, Bob, and those present observe Peel's defection without surprise. They are trying to find Prospera's whereabouts, but her and Quiet Zero's information has been deleted from their servers. Cathedral and the Mobile Suits Council also went by on the Union side. President Sirius communicates with Myrene and asks her to blame him and his son for everything that happened. The Bennett Group must prevail over what they refuse since they do not want to sacrifice the lives of more people. Elsewhere, Soletta and the Gund Arms guys hear from Belmiria about Quiet Zero, a device that creates and expands the data storm of the Ariel and the Gund bit. Any system that uses the permet is under their control, making it impossible to face it. Prospera wants to create a data storm on Earth with the risk of death for many people. So they want to stop the conflicts between the Union and Bennett by asking Soletta for help. She says that she will not be able to convince her since she is not really her daughter. He confesses that Prospera's real daughter is Ariel. She is only a replica created with the genes of Irich Samaya. He recounts that the Vanitas incident occurred 21 years ago where they fled to Mercury, but the little girl was almost dying. Prospera passed on her biological data to the Gundam through the Gund. Now the Ariel is the body of Irich, who can only survive in the data storm. Soletta would serve as a bridge between the two until her mother achieved her goal. She confesses that she loves both but knows that for Prospera Irich will always be the most important thing. He apologizes for not being able to help. Guston proposes another alternative to intervene. They obtained a resource from the Vanitas incident, a Gundam that they nicknamed the Monster. He wants Soletta to pilot it. Belmiria refuses since that unit has no protection against the data storm. Nika reproaches him for not to say anything. He confesses that he knows about Peel and the pilots that he sacrificed in experiments with the Gundam, including the previous Elon series, who was deleted. Crying and apologizes for his selfishness in all this time and that he would have preferred to die from episode 0. Soletta realizes and tells everyone that she is not immune to the curse of the Gundams. It was always Irich who absorbed the damage. She wants to go talk to her mother and sister. Her friends know that it is suicide. Determined, she asks Guston to take her to the Gundam. Somewhere we see the Ariel being linked to machines. Operators tell Prospera that the Mobile Suit and the Quiet Zero are linked and she gives the order to start. In space we see the Union fleet arrive at Bennett. The alerts, they shoot up and see a giant structure in the distance. This is the Quiet Zero. The Union decides to confiscate it as evidence against them. Prospera tells Irich that he can start. Dozens of mobile suits come out of it, so the Union takes out their own units to attack. These are quickly decimated and discover that their enemies have no pilot. The data storm expands, taking control of all Union units and their ships, destroying each other while the captain curses the witch. All in Bennett they saw the massacre while Prospera thanks her daughter, assuring her that the new world begins for her. Myrene explodes, believing that the death of the troop is her fault. The news reaches Soletta and company. Choo Choo makes the decision to go like all her friends. They will not abandon the Mapacha in this situation. Elon Clone appears and says to support them in exchange for his freedom since he must go somewhere. He apologizes to Soletta for pressuring her and she wants him to tell her everything about the Elon that she knew. He agrees and warns that he will not go up to any Gundam. A final scene shows us Luda in front of the Schwarzette. He is sure that everything that has happened is Myrine's fault, for which he possibly seeks revenge. Subscribe for more content. There are few chapters left to finish the series.